Hey everyone, welcome back to White Sparrow Living, Luke 12:6. I'm Wendy, and today I've got some Dollar Tree tips, tricks, hacks, gift ideas, wrapping ideas. It's just a potpourri full of a bunch of different things for Christmas that you can do now, even though Christmas is just right around the corner. And now, without further ado, let's get started. So speaking of potpourri, if you're ever in the candle aisle at Dollar Tree, instead of using scented candles or wax melts, try using some of their scented potpourri. I love the apple cinnamon one, and I know potpourri was a big deal in the 80s and it's kind of gone out of style, but who doesn't love the smelly goodness of Christmas? All you have to do is pour some into a small pot, add a couple of cups of water, and then bring it to a slow boil just to get that aroma jump started, and just let that smell float through your home. It lasts for hours, and you can add some water every now and then to keep it going, and it's super budget friendly. $1.25 to be exact. So Dollar Tree carries these wreath hangers, and they're perfect for hanging your Christmas wreath, but I've never really liked seeing the top metal piece that shows at the top of the door. So to fix that, I'm going to glue on a pretty Dollar Tree snowflake to give it some cuteness. And there are so many adorable options you can use depending on your colors or your theme. Just make it match to whatever your wreath is that you're using. So after I put mine together, I realized I gave all my wreaths away, so I'm gonna have to make one real quick so that I can show you my wreath hanger. So I'm using a thrift store generic wreath, and can you see all of the dust coming off of it as I fluff it out? But a quick way to make the most of these is to use something big to cover up the majority of the wreath. And if it's already cute and you don't have to do anything to it, that's even better. I thought this Dollar Tree tag would be perfect to match the snowflake that I put on the top of my wreath hanger. And then I just took a greenery stem from the Dollar Tree and put it through the hole at the top, and then I'll wrap that around my wreath form in the back to keep it nice and secure. Then I took some of Dollar Tree's deco mesh, and I'm just gonna use a piece of greenery from the wreath itself to hold it in place, and I'm just crunching it down and gathering it in little poofs and making it all pretty. And then I'll just go around the entire wreath all the way, but where I put my sign, I don't have to put any there, so I save a little bit of deco mesh. And then when I get to the end, I'm gonna use that same piece of stem to get that one in place, and that's gonna be all covered up with a big perky bow when we're done. So now I'm taking some of Dollar Tree's snowballs, and I thought this would be cute and fast because I'm just gonna glue that down, and they stay snug as a bug in a rug because there's so much greenery in this wreath. So I used a few larger ones and then some smaller ones, and I probably could have done more. I definitely could have done more, but I was trying to get this done just to show you my little wreath hanger. So now I'm going to make a perky bow, and I took some strips of ribbon, and I'm using some red velvet, some black and red buffalo check, and then just some black satin ribbon. And this is another super easy bow that you can do without being a really good bow maker. I'm just going to fold down and make a loop about a third of the way down, and then I started to twist it at that point, but you really don't have to do that once you see how it all comes together. So I'm just going to alternate those patterns, and I did 3 of each, but I did run out of the black, so there's really only 2 of those, but it doesn't even matter, you can't even tell. It's still going to be super cutie patootie. So once I get them all together, I'm going to take a nylon zip tie and wrap that around where my loops come together, making sure to get that flat edge inside of my nylon zip tie. And then before I close the nylon zip tie, I'm going to take another one and place it inside, because that's the one that we're going to attach to the wreath itself. So just pull it all together and close it up, and then I'm going to dovetail all of the ends, and then it's time to foof our loops. So just move them around until you get them to the direction and the placement that you want, and it's nice and perky. And then I'll take it and attach it with that other zip tie to the top of my wreath. And it's not really the top, it's going to be a little wonky, you know, kind of tilted. You'll see, I like wonky wreaths. And here it is all done, and you can see I actually hung this inside. I love to have wreaths on my interior doors also. So this is to the bathroom. I actually ended up giving this wreath away too. This is on my uncle's door at his facility here in Bakersfield. But I think it's a super simple way to give a regular wreath holder just a little more cuteness. I love finding fun ways to hold Christmas cards, so I'm going to use this Dollar Tree table runner, which you can usually find all year long, and I'm going to be folding one end over. This is going to be the bottom, and then I'll fold it again, and then I'll pin it in place, and then I'll start gathering it to make little pockets all the way up the runner. Just gather, pin, gather, and pin, and I didn't even measure or space them out evenly. I just want it to kind of be random. And I made the pockets pretty shallow so you can still see some of the card poking out. And it would have made it a lot easier if I had my little mini iron. I lost it at the last function that we did somehow. But anyway, if you want to iron it, that would make the creases nice and crisp and easier to work with. And then when you get to the end, just fold that top pointy end down so that it looks like an envelope. Now this can be a sewing project, and you would just sew along the two long sides, and that'll keep everything in place. Or you can use fabric glue or even hot glue. You just want to make sure that you glue your pockets in place too. But I decided to make it even easier than that by stapling along both sides along the edge there. Just make sure your staples go all the way through the fabric so everything stays together. Now I always have a hard time deciding on ribbon, and any of these would have been super cute, but some of Dollar Tree's ribbon is a little thin and hot glue can sometimes show through, and we definitely don't want that. To me, hot glue is just another form of plastic, and you may have heard me say this before, but I'm repeating my aunt's words of wisdom. Plastic is like undergarments, necessary but should never be seen. So I chose the thicker ribbon for my trim, and I'm going to go all along the edges, and because the pointy end reminded me of an envelope, I decided to copy the cuts of a real envelope. So I'm going to trim the bottom of that pocket to make it look like an envelope. Sometimes you just have to let your project lead you. And how perfect is an envelope for a card holder? And then at the top, I added another ornament for some Christmas sparkle, and I put it a little bit too high, so I'll add a sweet little bow in just a minute. So now to add some security and a hanger to the top of my card holder, I attached this Christmas sign to the back with a whole bunch of hot glue, and so it's kind of doing double duty really. And then I'm going to add my little bow. Now I always have to leave out so much stuff I want to tell you guys because there's never enough time and I can't talk fast enough. But can you see the little hand-drawn manger card? I paper clipped it to the outside so you could see the whole thing, but that's from my little niece Karis. She wrote me the sweetest note, addressed and mailed it out all by herself, and forgot to put a stamp. But our sweet postal workers, whoever does that, they still delivered it to us, and I just think that was so sweet. Okay, so that project was a little more involved, but this one takes 5 minutes max. I'm using a roll of red ribbon from the Dollar Tree and some of their round magnets. I measured my dishwasher and cut 2 pieces to fit. Well, I didn't really measure it. I held it up and then cut the pieces. And then I'm going to fold the ends over and then hot glue my magnets onto each end. And then I'm going to make a perky bow. And this one I did the old-fashioned way, like I was taught back in the day. I'm making loops and twisting the ribbon every time I make a pass between my finger or my thumb and my forefinger. And then once I get all of my loops done, and I just use the rest of the roll of my ribbon, and then I'll take the top twist or the top loop and turn it over back onto itself to make it cover the middle. And then I'll use a red tinsel stem to hold it all together, twist it on the back, and then poof out my loops. And then I cut off the excess stem and then glued a magnet to the back of it. And then I'll attach my ribbon vertically and horizontally onto the front of our dishwasher. And then I hot glued another magnet right in the middle and attach my bow right to the center of it. And you could also do this on your refrigerator door. But one thing I should mention is that, again, this is really pretty lightweight ribbon because it's from the Dollar Tree. So the magnets hold really well, and it also won't ruin the finish on your appliances. But if it's heavy duty ribbon, I'm not sure it would hold 100%, but you can see it hangs on really well, and when you open and close the door, it stays on there. I think this is just so cute, and it took no time to do, and plus you get to open a present every time you do the dishes. Here's another quick and easy idea. I'm using a couple of Dollar Tree glass trivets, and then I love using their window clings. I've used a bunch of these in projects from before, so that's why there's some missing. But I'm going to choose the design I want, and then I'm going to place it on the bottom of my trivet with the good side facing up. And then that way you can see it from the top when you're looking down. And there's so many cute images to choose from. I'm going to link another Christmas project I did using these clings right up here and also in the description box below so that you have some more ideas of how to use these. Anyway, because we're using these upside down and the clingy part is on the back, it's not going to stick to the glass, but that's okay because we have Mod Podge. So I'm going to brush some directly onto the glass and place my cling on top, and then add some more Mod Podge over the cling to adhere it to the trivet. Now I haven't used these yet, so I haven't tested them to see if putting something hot on it will melt the Mod Podge or make it bubble or anything, but I don't think it will, but we'll see. That's what these tests are for. You can also do this with the clear dishes from the Dollar Tree, and if you're baking some yummy treats for someone, this would be a super sweet way to gift them to them, and then they can keep the plate. So once my cling is somewhat dry and not slipping around, I can go in and cut off any pieces that go off the edge, and of course you want to squeegee out any of the bubbles. And how cute are these for your Christmas dinner? And again, if you're taking a hot dish to someone's house, you could leave this as a gift for whoever is hosting, and it's way cheaper than a thank you card. So I found these pretty Smith & Hawken glass terrariums a couple of years ago at the Goodwill, and I've never used them. I actually bought 3 of them. They were only $5.99 each. So instead of using the faux snow from the Dollar Tree, I'm going to get more bang for my $1.25 by using Epsom salt instead. And there are a couple of extra perks with this. First, the Epsom salt is a little bit heavier and holds your pieces in place a little bit better, and it smells absolutely glorious. So it's a win-win. And depending on the size of whatever vessel you're using, you have so many options. You can use the mini trees, the reindeer ornaments. For this first one, I'm going to use the light up trees, but I'm going to pull out the light part because they're a little bit too tall for these particular vases. But I'm going to pop that into the middle and place 3 trees and my reindeer around it. Now, I'm not a huge fan of multicolored flashing lights, but my grandkids love them. So I am going to show you a few different options here. I'm also kind of limited in what I can add in here because the opening is a little bit small. But I thought a pillar candle would be perfect to pop in there, so I used a votive candle holder from Dollar Tree and just placed it upside down over that strobe light, and the glow is really, really pretty and diffused. And just that easy, you have a gorgeous centerpiece. And I don't know why it's really blinking like that when it's changing colors. It doesn't do that in real life. It's just the camera, I guess. But I'm also going to show it to you with the lights off. So this is the grandchild version, and then here's the Wendy version. And I love these candles. I got these at Hobby Lobby. They're nice, big, chunky pillar candles. So another option, you can use these Dollar Tree mini trees, and they come in all different sorts and sizes, and I just put a bunch of green ones in there. And then I took another Christmas ornament in the shape of a church. I'm going to pop that in there. It does go over the top a little bit, so I'm going to use this little pillar greenery round thing from the Dollar Tree and pop that on top, and that just kind of covers up where it goes out. I think these are really pretty, but I'm going to use these again in another way in just a second. But look how pretty this is. I just love small little scenes like this in a snowy little imaginary village. It's just so pretty, and I think it kind of brings back childhood memories, don't you think? So in this one, I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm going to use my candle holder and my votive lifter for my pillar, and no lights this time. But with these rings, they're not quite large enough for these chunky pillars. So if you ever have that problem, just cut those one time so that they go around. You don't even notice, and they come in either the white or the red berries, both of which I think are so pretty. But here they are, all finished, and I have both of these on my coffee table for some beautiful Christmas goodness. Now, if you don't have any of the glass terrariums or apothecary jars, you can pick up a couple of these acrylic containers from the Dollar Tree. They also have the round ones. I didn't see these before I got the square ones. But anyway, I'm going to give them a little height and kind of make them resemble apothecary jars. So I'm going to use some permanent adhesive and some hot glue and attach the ever popular Dollar Tree glass candle holder to the bottom. And then I'll add my Epsom salt. And again, the possibilities are just endless. This time I'm adding some Village minis. And I was gonna also do a scene in this Dollar Tree vase, but I think you guys get the idea here. But look how sweet these are. And this is something you can do literally in minutes. So moving on to our Christmas dinner table setting, I picked up 5 buffalo check placemats, and I'm going to add a little pocket to them for our silverware. So I measured to see how big I needed to make my pockets, and I added a little extra for the hem. And since I'm using the corners of my placemat, 2 of my pocket sides will already be finished. So if you're not using a sewing machine, you'll want to cut and fold along those edges and glue them down before gluing them onto your placemat. But I'm going to be sewing mine, so I'm using those 2 finished edges. And then I added some pom-pom trim, also from the Dollar Tree, and I glued those onto the back. And then I just sewed the 3 sides onto the placemat. But now you have a sweet little pocket for your silverware or plasticware. And I thought it would be cute to add a little Dollar Tree Christmas greenery, but nothing with any glitter. Make sure there's no glitter on your table. And then I added my Dollar Tree wine glasses that I made, I think last year or the year before that. But again, you can use fabric glue or just hot glue. But if you do sew them, you can throw these in the wash too. And you can see my centerpiece with some other Dollar Tree projects. I love this little tablescape. So now it's time to make some napkin rings, and you can use these actual Dollar Tree napkin rings, or you can use shower rings. There's lots to choose from. Some of them, they're clear or white, but let's start with a simple napkin fold. I'm going to start by folding my napkin diagonally and then pulling down each corner so that the points all match up. And then I'm going to fold those sides back out, kind of like a paper airplane, and then pinch both outside edges in right about the middle, and then just kind of crunch it all up into the center and then slide on your napkin ring. And then you can make those little pleats nice and symmetrical. But now to embellish the ring, find something that goes with your colors or theme. But even if you don't have a theme or specific colors, just pick out something fun that you like. Make sure it has a flat back side, and then just add that special touch to your dinner table. I think all of these are absolutely adorable, but let me show you my favorite one of all. So I'm going to be using a Dollar Tree tea towel for this one, and I also wrapped a shower ring with some jute twine, and I'm going to cut my tea towel in half. These are pretty big, so if you just unfold it one time and then just cut it in the middle, you'll get 2 napkins from 1 tea towel. And you can finish the edges if you want with either hot glue or your sewing machine. But I'm going to fold this in half just like we did before, and then slide my napkin ring on there. And then I have this wooden ball that I believe is from Michael's. I think it's a doll head because there's like one flat area, but I'm just going to tuck it right into the top part of my napkin. And now we have a sweet little baby Jesus napkin. And then I used a JUTE white string tag and a metallic marker, all from Dollar Tree. And I wasn't sure which color to use, so I tried both and the bronze color one. But I just wrote "Love Came Down" and attached that to the napkin ring. And oh my gosh, could you get any more sweetness? Okay, now I'm getting super functional here. I'm going to grab 4 of these Dollar Tree oldies but goodies. We actually used some of these for our daughter's wedding 12 years ago, so they've been around for a long time. And then 2 of these buffalo check wedding signs, and then a season's greeting chunky snowman cutout. I'm going to glue the 2 signs together face to face so it's nice and sturdy, And I like the buffalo check pattern showing, but not that crease. So I'll just cover that up with some cute Dollar Tree 5/8 inch Christmas ribbon. And then I painted the inside of my box with my black chalk paint. And then I'm using my white chalk paint and made some snowy edges. And since my clings were still out and I had some empty glass surface, I added some snowflakes and a couple of pine trees to the sides of my container. Now I'm going to attach my little snowman to the inside of my tray, and I'll first mark where I need to stop with my glue and adhesive and then pop him right in there. And now that my paint is dry, I can add those glasses and fill them with some Dollar Tree plasticware, straws, and I'll slide some napkins in between those glass containers. And I think this makes the cutest little caddy for your Christmas buffet or even a work party. It's been sitting on our counter since I made it, and we have been using the heck out of it just for everyday use. So now I'm going to make a little perky prize for my sister for Christmas, and this is just a cooking themed gift. I got a couple of dish towels, pot holders, a whisk, a spoon holder, some wooden spoons, a tag, and then a cutting board. And I'm going to wrap all of this together, and instead of using a gift bag, I'm just going to use a Santa hat, and I thought that would be really cute. So I'm just going to put all of my goodies together. I refolded the towel so that they would go together a little easier and slip in there. I'm going to add some red and white gingham ribbon to all of my little bundles. I put some on the handles and just wherever I could to make some more sweetness to the package so it's more of a presentation. So I put a little bit on the handle of my cutting board, and this cutting board is actually pretty big, so I was glad to find that at the Dollar Tree. And then I tied my pot holders together. I do like to make sure that I'm giving two of everything, or the pot holders and the towels, because it just makes more sense, I think, and you can hang them on your dishwasher or your oven. But anyway, and then I added some baking twine around the towels and then stacked everything up, added some pretty Christmas holly into my sweet little bundle, and then I'm going to use some more of that ribbon and tie it all together. And since my dish towels had the little red truck on them, I decided to take some jute twine, and I'll just attach one of the little red truck ornaments to my little package. And then I'm going to tuck everything into my Santa hat, and I put some paper in there first to kind of get it foofy at the bottom so it's not just flat. And then I took some white string and attached that around underneath the rim. And then I took my tag and I'm going to write on the back of it. I didn't need to do anything to the front because it's already super cute. And I'm just going to write to, well, Mimi is my sister. Her name's Misty. And we all have, I guess I should tell you guys this. So my sister is Misty. She's Mimi. I'm Wee Wee. And then we have a Lily, a Shishi, and a Kiwi. Anyway, it just goes on and on in our family. I'm just going to tie my tag to the Santa hat, and that's all there is to it. And I think this is such a sweet little gift. If I liked cooking, I would love to get this, but I think I would like to get this anyway just because it's so cute. This next gift I did quite a while ago, I think like 3 years ago. This is one of those carpet squares, and this is in a bad lighting situation. This is in my old craft room, and anyway, I took one of the little caddies for toys, or like, Hot Wheel caddy. I'm going to measure to see how wide that is, and then on the back side of my carpet square, I'm going to take my utility knife and just make 2 lines down the center and kind of score it so that you can bend it. This is going to be a gift for my grandson. He's totally outgrown it now, but I'm also going to be using the snaps, or the little clasp from a Dollar Tree purse, as well as the handles. And all I did was I painted that back side black. I'm going to take a white paint pen and make some squirrely lines. I'm making a little racetrack. So I'm just freehanding it. I didn't do a great job, but it's still super cute. And I'm only having to impress, at that time, a 3-year-old. So it worked out really well. But I'm just going to make the little dotted lines in between. I put pit stop because that's where my little Hot Wheel holder is going to go. And then made a start and finish line. My lines weren't straight, and it wasn't anything having to do with perfection whatsoever, but I will tell you that my grandson loved this, And I actually, it was supposed to be for Carson, but he was a little bit too old for it. So it ended up going to Connor, and he played the heck out of it. But anyway, I'm going to glue my straps and my snaps onto the back side where the carpeting is. And then I put Carsonville Raceway. This was really fun to make. It was so cute, and he loved it. So Dollar Tree also carries lots of little Hot Wheels. They're not really Hot Wheels, but you know, the off-brand Hot Wheels little cars. So I'm just going to tuck a few of those inside of my container. And then I took some hook and loop tape, and I'm going to put that on the back side of the container, and then it sticks to the actual carpet. And so you can fold this up and take it anywhere. If you're going on a long car ride, or you're going to the doctor's office, or anywhere that you want to take some toys, but it's super easy to transport, and you've got your track, you've got your cars, you are ready to roll. So I don't usually like giving cash as a gift because it's kind of boring, but it is always a hit with the kids. And sometimes there might be someone that's kind of impossible to shop for. But if you wrap it in a fun way, then I think it makes it a little more exciting and thoughtful. So Dollar Tree carries these solar lights, and you can just unscrew the tops, add a rolled up bill and some vase filler, wrap some ribbon around the neck, and even use the solar part as the tag. And you've got a unique way of gifting some cashola. And to make a little game out of it, you can actually hang these on your Christmas tree and have your kiddos search for these. And then I've been saving all of the little greenery pieces that I take off of my Dollar Tree ornaments. So I used those and added a sweet little bow to make them even cuter. And I can't wait to see my grandbabies go searching for these. So another fun wrapping idea is to pick up a set of these nesting boxes. There's 4 in this set, but they are sold separately, so this was $5, but I think it's worth it. I'm also going to use a little velvet bow and some gift shred. Gift cards are another one of those not so exciting gifts, but this is a gas card for my daughter and her boyfriend, and I know they'll appreciate it very much. So to make it even more exciting, I hot glued a little bow onto the card and then filled the smallest box with some shred and then tied it closed with some jute twine. And then I'll pop it into the next box, and then pop that one into the next box, and then finally I'll pop all of them into the largest box, and then I'll wrap that one. I really like wrapping presents. I just don't like wrapping like 50 presents all at once. So I'm sure you all know how to wrap presents, but there are a couple of things you can do to make them look even better. One is to crease all of the paper at the edges to give it a tighter fit. And also, if you're doing a square or rectangular box like this one, fold up one side, but don't tape it yet. Just sit it up and do the other side first so you can push it down against your workspace and it stays in place when you're taping it, and then flip it over and do the other side. Also, fold every open edge so you have a really clean look. I think that makes all the difference in the world. And then instead of using expensive ribbon on every single present, even Dollar Tree ribbon can get, pretty expensive. I like using jute twine, and then I'll just add a scrap piece of greenery and use an ornament as the tag, and you have a super cutie patootie gift wrapped present that will be super fun to open. But also, I like to use all of the small gifts that I wrap as part of my decorations, like on tablescapes or shelves or tiered trays. The only thing is, you do have to remember to grab them if you're going to someone else's house for Christmas. Ask me how I know that. So this last idea is one of my favorites. I'm using this sweet tin from Dollar Tree, but you can also use gift bags for this one. If you save your bags from the previous year, this is a great time to recycle them. So I'm just going to tape some dollar bills together, and I actually slipped a 5 and a 10 in there too. And the first time I ever saw this done was when my mom did it for our son 24 years ago for his 12th birthday. And this was way before Pinterest. And I just remember how excited he was when he opened it. So then I cut some cardstock, and on one of them I made a point at one end and then wrote pull, and then I added a little ribbon loop to it, and then I'll fold that and tape it onto the first bill, and then at the other end, the end, I'm going to tape another piece onto that, and then I'm going to put who it's from. And then starting from the back, I'm going to roll it all the way up to the very front so the little pull sign is at the beginning. And then I made a little tissue paper nest, and I'm going to set my money roll in there and then let my tag hang over the edge, and then I'll close the lid. So now when you pull the tab, you start pulling out the moolah, and they won't even know how long this is going to go. They'll just be pulling and pulling and adding and adding. It's so much fun for them, but also for everyone watching. Well, if you guys are still here, I want to sincerely thank you from the bottom of my heart. I hope you guys found some good ideas from this video. Remember the reason and the true gift of the season. I hope everyone has a blessed day and a very Merry Christmas. And remember to always be the light. Bye.